when I was on stage, like I stole the show, and people would always say like, why aren't you like that all year? And I'm like, and I remember saying this, I was like, because all year I'm Danielle, but today I'm Domenica.
Welcome back to another episode of Innersleeve. I'm Cassius Morris, Joe Pacheco on the line. What's up, Joe?
Not much, my man. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. You know, there's a lot going on this week in the world of music, and I know we're about to jump right into it. But first, do we want to let the people know about our merchandise, perhaps?
Yes. And I'm happy to be wearing it today. Look at that. SoundMojo. Upside down. SoundMojo. Maybe I should.
And if you want yours, which is going to be right side up, make sure to check us in the description. We have all of our merchandise currently for sale for whatever weather season you're currently in. Also, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube if you're enjoying what you're seeing, and our audio platforms. This podcast is available anywhere you can get your shows. That's Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Spotify. So make sure to check in with us on all of those platforms. So before we jump into today's podcast, which was a really fun one, we do have some music news, and this goes over to the Grammys. Now, if you guys have been following music news in the last couple of days, you probably heard that rap superstar Drake has requested to withdraw his 2 Grammy nominations. He was up for Best Rap Album and Best Rap Performance, and management has requested that his name is entirely scrubbed from the Grammys for these nominations. Joe, I mean, what's up with this?
This is a first for me that I've heard someone sort of turn down their Grammys. Everybody fights for it. Everybody goes crazy and like Grammy nominated. It's like, Oscar winning, you get more roles and you get more stuff when you win these awards. But I mean, I don't think it's much news to Drake, hardcore Drake fans. I mean, they know like he's not snubbed them in the past, but he's had his opinions about the Grammys and winning awards and all that stuff. So I'm not too surprised. The Weeknd apparently last year as well snubbed the Grammys. Is this a new thing now? We're going to start snubbing awards ceremonies?
I think it's getting bigger, last year was a huge year for that. In 2019 also, I mean, like you said, we saw The Weeknd. Drake, on his last time that he won some awards at the Grammys, he tried to give a speech saying that the award isn't the real win. If people are enjoying your music who have regular 9-to-5s and stuff and it gets them through their day, that's the real win. And they cut off his microphone when he was saying that. And of course, we saw Kanye West with the infamous urination on the Grammy. So, Joe, you know what? I think this is starting to follow. A trend here.
Yeah, well, he's won 4 Grammys, right? But he's been nominated 47 times since 2010. So it's like a low batting average. But I mean, hey, it's not everybody can win or everybody should get a Grammy, right? But it's like it should be, when you get one, you accept it and you move on, right? But you were telling me before, right? He's won Billboard Awards, right?
He's won so many awards. I believe he won, if not 10, maybe even a dozen awards from Billboard in one night. I mean, we're talking about a guy who is on a winning overdose. And if we go over to his trophy room, which you're seeing in the video now, this is just to illustrate how much winning this man has actually done. Like, look at this, Joe. This is unbelievable.
That's crazy, huh?
It's bigger than my apartment, and it's just holding his trophies. But I mean, doesn't it make sense though? I mean, at a certain point when you have so many, I would imagine it maybe doesn't have the same value as if your first few,
I guess. I don't know. But I'm happy that he said what he said, like in 2019, or where it was like, if people are going from their day jobs, putting up with the rain, snow, buying your tickets to see your show and your merch, you won already. I mean, like, that's pretty much it, right? Like, the whole thing is just to be recognized by the peers. What's interesting is that he was removed from these categories, but they didn't throw in an extra person because I'm assuming all the voting ballots and everything went out already. So basically, it's good for the last 4 people that are in that category to have a better chance to win now.
It's huge for them. I mean, it is funny to think of that because, I mean, if I was in the category against him, I mean, it's like being against whoever, Michael Jackson in his prime or Adele when she was on her crazy run. It's like you can't really beat that. And I kind of feel bad for Young Thug and Future because the song he withdrew featured them So he technically withdrew them from winning a Grammy. So I don't know.
Indirectly, you know. But
indirectly. But hopefully, you know what? I mean, it's one of those situations where it'll be nice to see someone else get a chance, see the love spread around a little bit. So big shout out to Drake for keeping it real there. Let's go over to some metal news. Now, this is cool because this sort of combines two worlds that we sort of love on this show. Of course, rock and metal, and now the sort of Web 3.0 universe, NFTs, cryptocurrency.
It's all over the place, man.
It's all over the place. If you're resistant to it, it may not be your favorite topic, but it is upon us.
Yep.
Now, Megadeth has officially launched its own cryptocurrency called Mega. It's such an original name, right?
It's so funny because like growing up, Megadeth, Metallica. Now, like when I mistype Metallica, like my autocorrect, you know, like Word, Microsoft Word or Google Docs knows that, no, this is how you spell Metallica. You know, this is some stuff as a kid I would have never thought. And now to see like the word mega, and I'm assuming Metallica will eventually come and others were in the stock market kind of on exchanges, you know, it's so like,
there'll be
awkward.
Meta.
Yeah, you know, but it's just so like, it's funny because it's like, it was so like polar opposite universes, right? Megadeth, like metal is like anti the establishment, and then you have the establishment, and now they're sort of like, hey, let's just work together, right? You know, and like, let's take advantage of the crypto stuff. And what's interesting with this is that like members of the Cyber Army, which is Megadeth's official fan club, that also hold Mega, will unlock additional benefits, right? Access and offers. So this is the kind of like the NFT, this whole. It's all gonna change, man. Like if you already hold this, then you have access to certain things, right? And if you're already part of the Cyber Army, Megadeth's fan club, you automatically get some free Mega tokens. So it's interesting.
Which is it's a damn good deal, and I mean it's super cool to see. Also, this past April, the first official Megadeth NFT was sold, and this was sort of an experimentation, I guess, leading up to this. It was sold for 8.4 Ethereum, which is roughly $18,000 US.
At the time.
And this was for Vic, at the time. This is for Vic Rattlehead, of course, the mascot comparable to Eddie in Iron Maiden. I think this is cool, Joe. You know, I mean, and it's especially cool to see artists who are, you know, from a different era, 80s, 90s, embracing this current stuff. You hear a lot of these guys in these bands, they don't want to remix and remaster their albums. They don't want to use streaming services. It seems like Mustaine and Megadeth are pretty ahead of the curve.
Yeah, man. That's, you know, why not? Take
why the hell not?
Right? Like, it's like you're just giving your audience, your fans, another advantage to even potentially, I don't know, like, I don't know if their goal is to make money with this cryptocurrency, or if it's just, if you hold it and you hold a certain amount, then you'll have access to certain features, maybe even voting on certain, maybe the album cover, right? Like if you have 300 Mega tokens, you have a higher vote on what the album cover is going to be. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. But I mean, it's interesting because like we've always been saying this, right? You want to cut out the middleman and get right to the fan. And I think we're like there, man. We're getting there with this type of stuff.
We are. Decentralized, that's a good word to apply when you start thinking of record labels and stuff. So I think you're definitely right, and it's going to be really interesting to see what's next for Megadeth and the entire space, the entire music space. I think we're definitely coming up to something new. So today's guest on the podcast is none other than Domenica Dee, the one and only. She joins us this week from Seattle, and you know what, Joe? This was a really cool episode because it was sort of a change of pace for us, I think.
Oh, yeah. It's someone that I like early on, within the first couple of months of SoundMojo, spoke to. And her energy, as you will see in this interview, her energy is just, it'll take over. You know, it's just so like, she's so excited, she's so like ready to help and do anything, you know, like, so it was just like, you know, I never forgot that like sensation of hers, and she's always been like a fighter, a warrior for SoundMojo. Always like, you know, gets me in these little little email connections, or she did the concert for us last year. So I mean, like, you're gonna see, like, she's just a bundle of energy, and she has got a great audience. And I like the fact that like she's a today artist in the sense of, she's doing music. She does her own videos. She does Twitch streaming. She's on Discord. She's like, she does it all. You know, she's like you'll see in the beginning, we joke about it, where she's a doll collector. She's a dancer, choreographer, singer, producer. You know, it's like wears so many hats. So
A jack
thought it
of
was
all
interesting to bring
trades.
her on. Yep.
Yeah, it was very cool to have her on, and it's always cool sort of experimenting with those different sides of, all of this content, because Twitch, Discord, this is sort of stuff that we don't typically cover, and I'm definitely glad that we got to mix that in. So if you enjoyed this with Domenica Dee, you guys make sure to go follow her on Twitch, and we'll put all those links in the description below.
If you had my love and you thought of all the fun we had, tell me, baby, what would you do? If somehow you knew that your love could make a fool of me, tell me, baby, what would you do?
We're back with another very special guest right here on Innersleeve. I'd like to welcome Domenica Dee.
Hi.
How's it going?
Hi. Hashtag SoundMojo artist. Hashtag Domenica Dee. Hashtag.
Right. All the hashtags. We got to get that brand recognition.
That's the first thing I have on my list here. Singer, songwriter, dancer, choreographer, gamer, cosplayer, Twitch streamer. Like, is there anything else you want to add?
Wait, I loved when the concert premiered and she was like doll collector. And I'm like,
Yeah.
she
And
ain't
you added-
wrong.
So you added that to your, I saw that you added that doll collector to your Rebecca. Yeah.
I love her so much. You know what it is? It's always been a part of me. I have so many dolls. Like what you see is actually nothing compared to what I have in this closet. You don't know. I just have always done it. I've always had different collections and I go through seasons donating them too. So like once a season is over or once I don't do it anymore, I either donate it or give it away. And a few collections have stuck. And I remember like 2 years ago, I became like obsessed with these squishies and now they're a big trend. And now like half my squishies can be sold for $100 each, which I never sell. I never sell. So it's just become a part of me. And I don't even buy these dolls. People just like see me enjoy them and they like get me them. And I'm not opposed to getting free dolls, but yeah, it's just taken over my whole persona and life, as you can see. So I love
So
that.
if you open the closet, would it be like an avalanche of dolls just coming out? Like it would be probably pretty epic.
I mean, it's actually tastefully done. I have costumes in there. So when you first walk in, there is just like wigs and costumes. And then on the shelf, I had shelving made and a stadium made. So I have all of my big animator dolls on the stadiums on the left side that take off that entire left side. And then I have 3 laundry baskets of TY Beanie Boos back on the back wall. And I have 300 of those. So they're up top. And then when you turn right, I used to collect Bratz dolls, which again is now there's like a resurge in Bratz dolls. I used to collect Bratz dolls. And so then on the right is another stadium type deal, but they're all out of the box. And so yeah, this right side is full of like Bratz and Monster High dolls. So you can't really see them. And then in the bins too, like in the bins are all my other squishies, like our seasonal squishies. So you can't really see it when you walk in. They're on the top, but you really can't see it. It's hidden behind my costumes. But I will say it's kind of like a Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe type deal. Like if you take all the costumes, you'll see a bunch of them there, and it's just like, don't look.
No My Little Ponies.
For a while I was collecting a little of them, like the little miniature ones. And like the My Littlest Pet Shop, but those are the ones I donated. Like they were a phase, they were kind of cute to collect because the newest thing. But I just gave them away because a lot of girls started like wanting them, and I am so like I advocate so hard to get these toys and dolls to people who really can't go out and get them. And I have so many of them, so I don't mind giving them away, sharing them. I've given away even Pokemon cards. I've given away so many things that people are like, you could have sold that. Like somebody wants to play with this. Like somebody wants to give it a home. So I can talk about dolls all day, by the way. So
No, that's cool of you that you're actually trying to give back like that. One question would be, how would you describe your artistry and yourself as a creator to somebody who maybe isn't familiar with you? Because we went off the top. There's so many different things that you do. How would you try to narrow it down as a package to describe it?
I get this a lot. And I say this phrase I always say that I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, but it's better than being a master of one kind of thing, where I do everything that just makes me happy. And it just so happens to I love learning, and that's what it is. And so at first I was just a singer and a dancer. And then next thing you know, I was a choreographer. And then I knew how to songwrite. And then I was interested in engineering. And then, well, I have this image and I'm really good at marketability. Like, how do I make something marketable in any case? And so what I tell people is the first thing that people will do is like try to find something that is going to sell, right? But my philosophy is make you happy first, because if you're already happy, it's easy to sell, right? Kind of thing, or it's easy to do, it's easy to learn if you are already happy in what you're going to do. So I think that's what I am. Yeah, I think that's what I am. Like, what makes you happy, you know?
Interesting. And so at which part of this actually came in first? Was it music? Was it your love of sort of cartoon figures and such?
So when I was little, so my entire line of family has been dancers. And so as soon as the age of 3, I was dancing. So that came first. And I remember being 4 or 5 starting to sing. And it was one of those, it's really a fluke because no one sings in my family. It's not like I had a whole line of singers or I had somebody into music, like we've all been music because of dancing, but it was dancing first. And then I started singing, like literally when you're like a kid, you're just singing. They're just, where is this coming from? Like, you're a dancer. So I think dancing and singing came first. And of course, when you're younger, and my mom was a teacher, and I just grew up in that whole thing, because when my mom's a teacher and she would teach in order to pay for my lessons. So I would have to like be there all of the time. And I think that's when I started creating the characters, because, you know, in these dance numbers, because I did tap, ballet, and jazz was later, but you know, you have to be, they dress you up and you have to be like this character in ballet. And then you have to do like the cha-cha and tap. And I just started becoming these characters. And I think it's just so easy for me to adapt and put on a show and like wear a costume and feel comfortable in myself and become the costume. It's really easy for me. And I have to stress the dancing that did that for me. And it just spilled over in music.
It's always fun to love what we do, right? Like,
yes.
Like you were saying, to be like, it's one thing, like I always say this, it's like, there's one thing about resources and then being resourceful, right? So like you're one of those resourceful people, like I hate to say it, like myself as well, where it's like everything I've achieved in the sense of saying like, all my jobs and stuff have all been stuff of hobbies that started as hobbies, right? Like I learned to play guitar. Next thing I know, I'm doing this. Then I learned, like you, engineering, recording bands, producing artists, and then like I ended up at a radio station. So it's like all this stuff is just from spending time learning.
I was
that's
a host
the best part.
at one point too. I was a host. They were like, "Can you host?" I'm like, "I can figure it out. Let's host."
What did you host?
Yeah, exactly.
What did you host?
I was a host for an open mic. So there was an open mic in the Bronx, BX open mic. It's no longer there. And it was a small thing. And at the time I was helping develop an artist to perform there, and they would cycle through hosts. And, you know, I am a humble person, but I was sitting there like, that's not really what a host would do, kind of thing. Kind of like, it was more that they wanted to be the artist than the host. And you have to separate that when you are hosting. And so I was talking to the guy and he was like, well, do you want to host one week? And I said, sure. And I remember when we first started that first night, we had like 10 artists, lasted at an hour. And then the next time I hosted, it was 200 people. So it was like a lot. I say 200 a lot, but it was like, because there was a cap and you couldn't have more than 200 people in the place. There wasn't 200 artists, but there were enough artists with their crew, because you had to bring 2 people, that we made capacity. And then we had to like keep people out. And then I just became the host of the BX open mic. And then later on a poetry open mic from somebody who saw me there and was like, would you do this as well? So I did that. And I tried to move that over here on the West Coast. And again, we'll talk about all of this, but the West Coast is kind of not as cool or fun as the East Coast is. Like, they just don't get it. You know, they don't get the process. They don't get my idea. And a lot of times there are like these trades you do. In the East Coast, you're just like, okay, you're going to rent this space out for free for me. And then you'll get 2/3 of whatever the bar thing is, right? It's like a whole deal. And really the only out-of-pocket expense anyone has is the DJ. And you pay that out of pocket. And then what happens is the bar will make $2 per entry fee, and we'll make a certain amount so that everyone gets covered. And when you're first starting out, really no one's getting paid. We're doing this to get traction, and then by the third or fourth time, you'll see some type of money to invest in your show, in your product. And so I brought that proposal here on the West Coast, and I'm already taken a certain way being a pop star on the West Coast. It's just like, unless you're an underground rapper or an underground, like a kind of like a guitar and a grunge type of look, they don't understand it yet. And so when I came up with this, when I showed them this idea, they couldn't process it. They can't process it over here. So, when I go East Coast, I'm no longer hosting, but it was a fun thing. And I would love to do it again. And that's why I think I'm so good at streaming, because it's like me being the host of my own show.
Correct.
Yeah.
Welcome to the D Street Show. Yeah. Welcome to D Street.
That's what we have today. You have basically a TV studio in your home, right? Or in your office. So it's awesome.
I have a dresser, and like the camera is on, like, I post in my Discord a lot, and it is kind of funny. And again, it's humbling. I can't wait for me to be like, this is where I started and this is where I've ended, So,
yeah.
But you got to make it happen.
The rhythm of my love, the rhythm of my love, the rhythm of my love. It sounds like the rhythm of my love, the rhythm of my love, the rhythm of my love. It sounds like the rhythm of my love, the rhythm of my love.
So what exactly is the angle for your Twitch streams, and how do you sort of interact with your fans? Because I know it's very interactive.
I didn't even know how interactive it was. This was all because of the pandemic. So I was in music and I was doing really well in that. And Joe, as you know, or as everyone knows, that my whole image is gamer girl, candy, like the whole, right, with the My Love video, that I'm trying to combine the two, gaming world and music world. And I had a bunch of like performances ready, and I would perform in cosplay, and the pandemic happened and everything got canceled. And so a lot of us were gamers, just started streaming. There were a lot of different, like TikTok became big, right? And something, it just must be me. Animal Crossing popped off. Like, that's what happened. I popped off as a streamer, and then I was able to create a community around my music Twitch and have that going. So I had this music Discord. I had this music Discord going, and it was supposed to be my brand, and I had like different channels, and it really wasn't active. And then when I started streaming, it started becoming like hyperactive. When people tell me I have an active Discord, that's an understatement. And it's just always on, and it's always talking. And I did that for my brand with my streaming. And then when I pivoted to the newest game I've been playing, I created a separate Discord, and now both of them have about 100 people, and they are highly active. And for me as a streamer, I need to figure out, how do I combine these two? Because they're two groups of people. And, one is for music and one is like, and music and gaming, I'm assuming. And then this one is for a game. Like, how do I help combine them? Because it is a lot. Streaming, you're your own everything. I'm a streamer. I'm trying to upload videos. I'm editing. Thank goodness I have my IT guy. Everyone knows, who watches me knows my inside joke with my IT guy. And he comes and helps me. But it's just a lot for that. And for me, I have to just focus on another thing that becomes erratic is the scheduling. For the past 2 weeks, I've been working on new music. We'll get to that, but I've been working on new music, and my schedule for streaming has been erratic. So it's no longer like every Monday morning, every Friday, like, right? It's not like kind of a
consistent.
It's like, today I'm going to stream, surprise, whoever's on is on. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah.
And so that's been a trip. I think the Discord thing has been a lot for me, because I'll wake up to notifications from Instagram, maybe like 90-ish notifications. Wow. I'll have like a little 90, which isn't a lot. I used to get more. And then like, I don't even go on TikTok because I get a bunch of notifications, but then I'll have like, oh man, one time it was like, I remember the number. It was 593 notifications, because I had turned my phone on Do Not Disturb at work. And I was like a busy day at work, and I came back, and I'll never forget that number. I screenshotted it. Like, I can't do this alone. Like,
right.
Yeah, I need some help.
Yeah. How many plays? And that's not even a lot. that's not nothing. When I say that, people who know will be like, I wish. Not 500. Yeah, okay. Like, so yeah, I just have to, I think for streaming, it's just, again, something I love to do because it's the game I play. I love playing. So it's nothing to me. I'm just showing you guys how much I love playing, and I'm not really a numbers person. So I'm not sitting there like, well, if you do these tactics on this card, then you get this percentage. I can't do that, but I can be like, play with the cards I think are cute, like my princess, right? These are my cute cards and this is how well they do, right? Kind of thing. And so,
because it's more of a passion thing.
Yes, definitely. And which happens to be succeeding for me. Yay.
That's awesome. I really like that philosophy though. Sorry, Joe. I don't mean to step on your words there, but it's definitely a good philosophy.
Yeah, I remember like when SoundMojo started 2 years ago, and I know I say this often on this podcast, one of the first people to sign up, but Danielle Domenica, she was definitely the second video we published on the channel. I did my research today before saying that.
Yes.
My Love was the second video to be published with great reception, great comments. It was a lot of, but I still never forget, I'm in the office when we were in an office at Watch Mojo, and I got her submission, so I reached out to her, and she was literally driving, talking to me. Driving to perform at PAX, right? PAX West?
Yeah, it was PAX. Yeah, it was PAX. Yeah, it was PAX East or West. It probably was West. It was PAX West. It was PAX West.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, man. Like, that's when I started to discover this, like, well, singer, songwriter, a gamer.
Everything.
Everything. Very interesting.
Add it to the list.
So let us know a little bit about, like, I always was curious, like, why the name Domenica Dee?
So Domenica is my middle name, and I always ran with that for everything I did. When I was in pageants, my name was Domenica. Like any acting, I was Domenica because, again, it was like a character change, you know. And I'm going to reveal a big secret from us artists. Danielle is like my first name, right? And the people, and no one really calls me Danielle. Everyone calls me Dee. That's why I got that. But, you know, Danielle as a person is absolutely not the star. She is like, I'm not quiet. I'm not gonna say I'm quiet, but I am like shy a little bit. I am insecure, you know, I'm very insecure and I'm very sensitive, you know, but Domenica, this persona I created when I was younger, cause when I would go by my middle name, she was everything that Danielle wasn't, you know, she was confident. She knew she was great. She didn't doubt herself. And I just became that. And we would have this joke. Me and my sister would have this like ongoing joke, like when you're Danielle, you're like, but when you're Domenica, you're like, right? So and I just carried that with me. And when I was working with like all of the labels back in 2014, I came in as Domenica, and I remember them telling me, they were like, you have to change your name because it sounds too ethnic, and you also look a little bit ethnic. So we want you to look white. Right. And I was like, okay. So we went back to my first name, Danielle, but no one calls me Danielle. Everyone calls me Dee in the gaming world. So my gaming tag is always Dee or DD or D Street. And so Domenica Dee is just a combination of my music name and my gaming name. When I released myself as a solo artist, which I met you on literally a week later, but when I finally debuted as a solo artist, I wanted to combine the two, and one way I did that was combining my music and like, I guess, performing arts name with my gaming name Dee. So that's where I got Domenica Dee, and people call me either. A lot of people in the gaming world are starting to call me Domenica, and a lot of people in the music world are now calling me Dee. So I love that. Yes, I'm trying to get them to do that. Gotta get them to do that.
Was all of this done consciously though? Like you explaining how Domenica was the more outgoing, confident persona, and Danielle being the more reserved and having some insecurities. Was this all done consciously, or did you kind of piece it together as it went on?
I think it was done subconsciously, because I'll tell you when I realized this. Oh my goodness, let me tell you the story. So another thing that happened with dance is I would think I was like, I mean, I hate to say it because it's just perpetuating this, but you know, you're teased as a kid, and I had different hair and I looked different than everybody. I mean, don't let the wig fool you. Like, you guys already know my big poofy hair. And so I would be made fun of. And so for dance class, I was 8 years old, and I was put into a class that was higher than I was because I was more talented than my age group. So I was 8 years old in a class of 15-year-olds. And, you know, 15-year-olds look like mini cute women, right? But like, and I still looked like a kid and I felt insecure about that. And I'll never forget, when I was on stage, like I stole the show and people would always say like, why aren't you like that all year? And I'm like, and I remember saying this, I was like, cause all year I'm Danielle, but today I'm Domenica. Like, it's because when I'm performing, nothing matters. I really am a great performer and I am insecure in almost everything. Like even singing live, I get nervous. But in the studio or on a stage, I am not shy at all. Like there is no doubt in my mind of my craft. Like I love my craft and I'm good at it kind of thing. And so I think that's when I started to separate the two. Like no matter how Danielle will feel or Dee will feel, like I am Domenica when it counts, right? So
but
I think it was.
I find that that's pretty good. There's a strong balance there because I mean I can't speak to it because I don't have that going on for me, but I can imagine that people who
I thought it was Frank and Frankie. What do you mean?
Right. But I can imagine it provides a good balance because people can't be 100% of the time.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Like it would be too overwhelming, too much.
On people who know me from PAX events and I'm cosplaying and I'm like a whole thing, right? Because when I cosplay, people want to come and take my picture. And I remember one year was like on IGN, right? And people who know the real me, like the Danielle knows that I even have social anxiety that I have been working on half of my life. And it's a lot, it's draining. And so after something like that, I am shut down. Like I can't even put on the show. And I feel like I need to work on that as well, because the more success I've been getting, the longer I have to be Domenica. And sometimes it's a lot for me. And I think I want to shout out my Discord families because they have been so receptive for me to say, guys, today I can't be on. Today I'm going to be my like Dee and like Danielle, and I'm going to need like to be me and vulnerable. And this is how that's going to go. And they get to see a side of that I don't think my Instagram following or even the TikTok following I have, as small as it is, has that ability to do so. And I think that's why Discord has been so important for my career and my career pivot. It's because they were able to see a part of me that no one else gets to see. Like, you know, like here's all the work I've been doing. Like, wow. So here's what happened, even though I did all this work. Wow, that's very upsetting, right? I had to, you know, like I'm not always going to be happy and I'm not always going to be a character. I'm also going to be vulnerable. So
I think people appreciate the fact that you let them peek behind the curtain, you know, because like we're all human, right? Like, I mean, there's like, we all look at like when a concert gets canceled, we get upset because like, wow, I paid, but you don't realize that this artist has been touring for like 6 months, playing 3-4 nights, you know, so it's like, they're human, you know, so we have to understand
absolutely.
that.
If I was gonna wish, if I could have a moment to relive.
I wanted to know, like, because you know, you always put a ton of effort into your videos. Your videos always have a great aesthetic and stuff. So I mean, for anybody who wants to check out, there's going to be links everywhere, obviously, and like maybe click here or here, wherever.
Somewhere in the vicinity here.
Joe made me cry. I have proof. Joe made me cry. He made me cry. I was crying during the One Wish premiere. I was hysterical.
Joe, how could you? No.
It's stronger than me. Anyway, I just wanted to know what's going on, like what's coming up for you, because you know, with the pandemic and everything, and you had to pivot. So what's coming up for Domenica?
I am really excited for this. So not only do I still have a song that I am making a video to, which is, so the One Wish is like it's like 4 parts to it, right? So it's One Wish, You're the One, the song I just recorded and it's getting mixed right now, and another song, TBD, right? So I still have a video to do for You're the One. And also I have been working with a few studios and people. So out in the East Coast, which is, I really don't want to mess up anyone's names because I just know people's names. So let me get this straight, because I straight up was like, I just call you by your first name. Like, what do I call you? And he's like, oh no, this is what's up. So it is the one who did my One Wish video. So it's Top Scale Music Group. Got to add that. It's Top Scale Music Group Studios. They have been working, I work with them when I'm on the East Coast, and one of the producers there had a track that, you know, a lot of people, one of the things I love about like my whole process is I'll hear something that immediately inspires me and I know is going to work. And a lot of people can't see it yet. Like, right. And that's my superpower. Like a lot of people are like, no. And I was like, you need to give me that. I need that. And so I wrote a song and that's getting mixed as well. And I'll give you guys a little bit of a hint on it. It's kind of like Cake by the Ocean kind of feel, like the whole like dancing, but it's a song about how all songs are sounding the same and doing the same thing to be successful. Like that's like the whole premise of the song is, I've heard this before, but if you can't beat them, you got to join them kind of thing, right? Like that's actually a title suggestion I've given already. Like the title of the song is If You Can't Beat, but it's not If You Can't Beat them, you join them. It's if you can, like like the acronym for it. Yeah. It's like a long kind of say. So basically it's that, and I love it so much. It is so funny. I even choreographed a dance to it. And this is all, by the way, are you writing this down? Because this is all secret stuff I'm about to get you. Like this
I'm taking notes right now. I mean,
I have not revealed this. And I even told my Discord who's been begging me for some information. And I'm like, no, it's the exclusive scoop always with you guys.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
Well, SoundMojo, I'm a SoundMojo artist. So SoundMojo should definitely get the scoop first. No? So
100%.
The dance is a combination of all the dances you do at weddings, right? And I've combined them to fit this song, right? And I'm just so happy for it. And when this song comes out and this video, I already have the concept for it. It's going to be, I really do think it's going to be game changing. And another song I just laid down, and the reason why I rushed that and not did it in order, I did it at JWK Studios out here on the West Coast. I have to shout out Tuda. He has been helping me like crazy on the West Coast. He moved like 3 studios. I love to see it. He's at Puget Sound Records himself. So shout out to them, who's been helping me because it's also hard as a pop star to find a studio out here. But this is a rap-based studio that was open to someone like me coming in and giving them, you know, they're used to 3 tracks in a sound recording. I give them 100 tracks, you know, it's a lot. So he was helping me out. And the reason why I rushed this recording is I wrote this song and I wrote it about my old career, kind of. It's like a combination of a lot. It's when I left my job, I left the girl group I was in, the management I had, right? And I did that, but it was almost like I didn't do that because I wanted to. Basically, I was staying there until very last minute when everyone was telling me to jump ship because I thought I was the exception. Like, no, they're going to come back. Like, no, I'm the exception. Right. And I was almost kidding myself. And so I wrote this song about that, like almost kidding myself kind of thing. And I showed it over at Top Scale. I showed it to them and they were straight faced, like, this is the best song you've ever written. So you need to do it now. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
No, it isn't. And they're like, no, absolutely do this now. And I was like, okay, I'll get this rushed. And so that as soon as I landed here, I booked a bunch of studio session time to lay that down and arrange it. And I just finished literally last night. Like I'm just over. I'm like, okay,
Congrats.
It's done. Thank you. And so now it has to be mixed. Thank you. And so now it's going to be mixed. And again, we'll talk about, because I remember one of your questions that made me laugh was, what's it like to be an artist now? Or what's it like to be in music now? And I just thought, I just LOL at that question. But so it's going to get mixed and then it's going to be sent back to me and I'm going to be the one to process the first draft. So I can't wait for you guys to have this, because this, I already have my wardrobe for the cover shoot. I have a video set up. So this, I'm going to push this faster than the other one I was excited about. So I'm really excited for these 2 songs that are coming.
It's going to be huge.
We're expecting them roundabouts when? Is it 2022 kind of thing?
No, yeah. So, well, I am one of those people that I say something like, I'm like, because, you know, I've learned from the industry, like you should be putting out music at this wave and this wave. And I throw the waves out the window. I'm like, okay, I know I'm supposed to wait till December, but I have it now. You're going to hear it now. So the first draft deadline is October 31st, because it's like the big thing. So that's the first deadline. Nice. If it happens earlier and I have it earlier, I'm going to be like, I need to photo shoot now, right? Like I'm going to release that as soon as possible, but I am aiming for like the end of November, like near Thanksgiving. So that's where my goal is. My goal is end of end of Thanksgiving will be this first song, and then during Christmas will be the second song. But again, I throw those out the window. I get very passionate about it. I always want people to hear it. And my Discord and even my Twitch community has been waiting for this now for 2 months because I mentioned it to them and now they really want to hear it. So I always feel like I have a loyalty to them specifically and not the music following I have, because they're the ones that are like interested in it and always hearing about it.
Your
and
audience.
they're my
your fans.
audience.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm really excited for it. I know I'm cheesing. I'm sorry. But when I first did this song, I always think of you, Joe. I'm like, oh, he's going to love this. Oh, he's going to love this. He's going to love the concept. Like, I don't want to reveal the concept. I'm going to have to bite my tongue. But you're going to, when you see it, you're going to like, oh God, this girl.
We're really excited for it. And we're obviously going to be pushing it out here at SoundMojo like crazy.
Thank you so much. I've been begging to be on your podcast. Ask everybody. I've been like, can I go on Innersleeve, please?
Yeah,
like,
it took us a while to get
begging.
this happening. It took it a while to get this happening, but
I'll be a regular. I'll set this up every single day if you want.
Yeah, we'd be happy to have you back. Absolutely. Just whenever you have something else to promote, just let us know.
Oh, thank you guys. And I'll see you guys on the gram.
Awesome.
If I had one wish, if I had one moment to relive.
Huge thanks to Domenica Dee for taking the time to join us right here on Innersleeve. I have a smile on my face just watching that back. I mean, like you said, just so much energy and so much just good vibes, you know?
yeah, totally. I mean, like, she's like, my biggest takeaway from Domenica is like extremely hardworking. Hardworking person, super energetic, as you saw, and like always learning and always like, resourceful person, like figuring it out. Like, you might not have the resources to do it, but she'll figure it out fine. Either be it in her audience, someone will help out, or they'll comment, or they'll do stuff. But yeah, that's my, extremely hardworking artist.
And it's cool that she's always finding ways to sort of expand a team. I mean, she's always doing stuff with people in person, like obviously before the lockdowns. She shows up, she reaches out. I mean, that's probably one of the most important things for up-and-coming artists that I always try to mention on this show. You can't wait for opportunities to be given to you. You have to be scouring for these opportunities. And someone like Domenica definitely does that very, very well. So we applaud her, and, she'll probably pop back on at some point.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like she mentioned her release, the next video. So I'm sure we'll have the scoop when it becomes a real thing, and we'll have her on the show again. And her massive doll and toy collection.
That's it, man. She's making me. I feel inferior over here. I only have a couple, so I gotta step my game up over here.
And it's interesting because I wanted to tie in like what we spoke about Megadeth and cryptocurrencies, decentralization, and direct to audience. And she's a perfect example of that situation where she's taking all these platforms to her advantage and building her audience, and she's directly communicating. There's no one else in between her and her audience. And that's what like, every artist strives for. That direct link. No, it's so true. And it's just awesome to watch the evolution, which is constant. We thank you guys for tuning in. Before we let you go, I just wanted to let you guys know really quick. We've started a new series on our social media and on our YouTube page called On This Day. It's a takeoff of On This Day in Music, which we started doing right here on the show. And now we're finding a new way, an interactive way to put them on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for sort of bite-sized content. So make sure to go check us out on all of those platforms. Our handle on everything is at SoundMojo, so make sure to follow us, subscribe. Also on the audio platforms, Innersleeve is available every single week on your favorite audio podcast provider. I wanted to thank the listeners because we're pretty surprised. We're focusing so much on the video stuff. And, I'm speaking for myself, like surprised, and I noticed that like even in the audio, it's picking up. We get regular, good amount of downloads. And even from like not the strangest places, but like the most interesting places like Brazil, like, and then Denmark and then Finland. And then we have like, obviously Canada for sure, the US. But I mean, it's so cool to like, wow, someone's listening to me, blah, 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 all day in their headphones, walking to work or doing their thing. I hope I'm not too annoying, but I really appreciate it because it's like so unexpected,
We really do appreciate it. And yeah, we were looking into that. So, you know, we would love to find out where you guys are at, what you guys are enjoying. A good way to do that is to follow us, like I said, on our YouTube and watch for those community tabs and polls. We post those all the time to figure out what you guys want to see, but also drop a comment. Say, hey, I'm tuned in from Nigeria. I'm tuned in from Japan, wherever. We'll definitely, you know, get back to you. And again, we really, really appreciate all you guys' support. Unless you had anything else, Joe, I have one more thing, and that's, of course, the merchandise, which, Joe, did you want to show them one more time? Just
one more time. And
there we go. We just sold 40 units just with that.
There you go.
There you go. SoundMojo. And you guys can pick this up in our description. Hoodies, we have crew necks, we have sweatshirts, and all of the above. So make sure to go check us out. And I won't keep you guys any longer, man. Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Innersleeve. Catch you next week.